Let's take a look at the Thesaurus functionality in Dataflix Link. So we go to the dashboard, we go to our Dataflix Link menu, and we go to Thesaurus. Let me just show you something. So if we search for John here, we get these three entries. If we search for Jonathan, we get this. Okay, so we've got Jonathan and we've got John appearing separately. So if we go to the Thesaurus page, and we're going to create a new Thesaurus, and we're going to call this a new list has been added. Okay, so we're going to call this names, and we're going to save it. It's saved, and now we're going to add a Thesaurus entry, and what we're going to do is we're going to create alternatives for the name John, Jonathan. So let's do that right now. So if we got John, we're going to say that Jonathan should appear. Create inverse entries, I'll show you that in a second. Let's spell Jonathan correctly and tick that. So that's saved. Let's go back to our databases, and we're going to go to our search, and right here we have Thesaurus match as an item for when we enter a name into our search. So we're going to change this to names, and we're going to tick that, and let's go and have a look at search contacts again, reset, and if we get the name John, we see that Jonathan appears now. However, if we put the name Jonathan in, we only get Jonathan. So what we have to do is we have to go back. Now this Thesaurus is added, we don't have to change that there, so we're just going to go straight to our Thesaurus, and we'll look at names, and we're going to edit names, and we're going to create inverse entries. So we'll tick that, and that's saved. Let's refresh this page, and we'll see that the other Jonathan will now be found if we John will be found if we enter Jonathan. So let's reset that. Apologies for my typing. And there we go. So another thing we can do is let's edit this. Let's also add John. We'll create inverse entries for that. That's done. Apologies. What's happened there is I've put this in the wrong place. So the keyword is John, and it needs to go here. So John. So if John is given, John will also show. And let me just create inverse entries of that as well, which was already done actually. So if we refresh this page, show this Thesaurus, we see that an inverse entry has been created. So if John is given as the name, John, everything for John will appear also, and I'm going to create inverse. So what I'm actually going to do is make sure we can create inverse entries there. So let's say Jonathan, and we'll create an inverse entry there as well. So it's changed. Let's see what we've got now. So here we've got, if it's John, Jonathan and John will show up. If it's John, John and Jonathan will show up, and Jonathan, John and John will show up. So we can test that. So just put John. Okay, and we'll put, let me just show those results again. So we've got John, John, Jonathan, John, just from John. And we should see the same results every single time. And what's the other one? I think the other one was John, right? And there we go, that's a basic idea of how the thesaurus works.